one of the hosts of The View is spreading a wild conspiracy theory as to why Republicans and the Trump administration are trying to get rid of the Department of Education. Take a listen to this.
And why do they want to gut education? Because a less educated America is a permanent working underclass. You can pay those people a lot less. You can make a lot more that way.
And
Why?
control them.
And you can control them. And that's why when you look at the stats, and I got some flack for saying college educated people voted in vast numbers for Democrats, whereas non-college educated people voted for Republicans. Well, we're seeing that come to pass, right? Those that are non-college educated are parts, it's the reason why Trump said, I like the highly uneducated. I'm loosely quoting that, but he wants
The poorly educated.
I like the poorly educated, because the more educated you are, the more critical thinking skills you may have. I'm not talking about self-educated people who read. I'm just talking about people our public school system is failing them. Those are the people that are going to be harmed the most. The most. If Democrats were really, really smart, they would really figure out a way to provide free college education for everyone. That's what Joe Biden was trying to do. That's why he wanted to get rid of that student debt, because the more educated your country is, the more you understand what is at stake in terms of your vote.
Oof. Guys, I love how people like Sunny Hostin will sometimes correctly even accuse Republicans of being the people who read fake news and push conspiracy theories. Then they'll drop the most delulu conspiracy theories you've ever heard. Newsflash, Sunny. Trump is not wanting to get rid of the Department of Education. That's not some new thing. Republicans have been wanting to do that for decades because it's a relatively new federal department with no actual authorization in the Constitution that is mostly just bureaucracy. It doesn't hire teachers or educate people. That's all state and local. It manages student loans, a bunch of regulations and bureaucracy, and spends a ton of money. And they want what they're described as doing is taking the student loan stuff, taking the civil rights stuff, and a couple other important functions of it, moving them to other departments, and then shutting it down. So nobody will be getting less educated. There'll just be less bureaucracy and less taste. That's not a horror story. And even if you disagree with it, it is not part of some broad conspiracy to make America less educated so they vote for Republicans. And the elitism is just dripping from her commentary here. It is off the charts. I have a college degree. Honestly, very little of it I use in my actual job. I learned far more in my first year on the job as a journalist about writing and politics than I did in 3 years studying economics and political science, okay? A lot of people don't go to college and end up just as smart or just as capable of critical thinking as people that did go to college. It's not a sign necessarily of intelligence, especially because so many college degrees are a joke now. It is just hilarious and deeply ironic to me that people like Sunny Hostin think they are in a position to give Democrats advice about what they need to do to win back voters when it's the media elites and the out-of-touch woke progressives like Sunny Hostin who are the reason that Democrats are so unpopular and so underwater in the first place. This was truly wild stuff, y'all. Honestly, wild. Up next, this protester interviewed by News Nation thinks property destruction is perfectly okay. Take a listen.
Destruction of property is a perfectly viable source of protest. No harming humans, obviously. Yeah. Human life is sacred no matter whose it is. But property these are just things. These are just cars.
Excuse me? Ma'am, what? You may feel slightly different when I burn your house down or somebody burns your house down. Oh, it's just property, babe. No one got hurt. Oh, it's just your things. It doesn't really matter. That is an absolutely wild, incredibly out of touch and privileged take. I imagine she'd feel differently if somebody vandalized the home or car that she has, all right? Imagine she'd feel very differently, especially when they're vandalizing these Teslas to protest a CEO who the individual owner of the car probably or maybe doesn't even support. It's just random acts of crime targeting your neighbors. And she's all about that and thinks, oh, that's totally fine. And I'm sorry also, but not only is that immoral and evil and demented stuff, you cannot draw this line between property destruction and violence against people neatly the way she's trying to draw it, because destruction of property very often ends up in people getting hurt. People throwing a Molotov cocktail into a Tesla dealership or into a electric vehicle that could be combustible, somebody could get hurt by that. It's not just stuff. We saw this with the Black Lives Matter riots. It started as peaceful protests. It turned into violent riots where, oh, it was just property damage. Tell that to all the businesses and bars and restaurants that were permanently put out of business by it. But regardless, the property destruction and chaos bleeds into actual violence. Dozens of people were killed, security guards, criminals themselves, police officers, and the like during those riots and that looting. You cannot neatly separate these two things because chaos and violence towards property bleeds into violence against people, almost invariably, if unchecked. These people make me want to pull my hair out because so many of them just seem utterly incapable of thinking about things if the shoe is on the other foot. Like, really, it's no big deal. It's just property. I'm never going to wish anything bad on people, and so I honestly don't hope this happens, but I know this woman would feel differently if it was her home or her car targeted. It's not just stuff. Anyway, up next, this woke TikToker is not coping well. Take a listen to this kind of wild video.
Get a gun. Get a gun right now.
Okay, I mean, I support the Second Amendment, self-defense for everyone, black, white, rainbow-colored, whatever, but I'm a little concerned about where this may be going.
Get your little cousin, your 18-year-old cousin who ain't got no record, make that motherfucker buy two. Get a gun right now. Get extra ammo.
Pretty sure you just described a crime, having somebody else buy a gun and give it to you so you can circumvent the process. Yeah, that's illegal, but okay.
Take that rent money and get a gun, bitch. They don't intend to leave us free. They don't intend to leave us free. Get a gun, bitch. Get it now.
What? This person thinks they, which I'm going to assume she means the Trump administration, don't intend to leave us free, referring to the black community, presumably. That's who this video is entitled to. Are you seeing and hearing things? Because look, you could disagree with so many things Trump's doing, but the idea that he's going to bring back slavery, which it's not even just this one woman. They keep saying this kind of thing all over social media, is insane. It has no basis in reality. This dude is uplifting black people to his cabinet. And you think he's going to bring back slavery? What? Again, I'm not against people owning guns, but you shouldn't be arming up in mass preparation to resist the government over something you're literally hallucinating. That is a problem to be most preferably spoken about with a recognized mental health counselor, not all of Black TikTok. Y'all, I'm getting worried about some of these people. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. I've been worried.